Aretha Franklin was a deal for a very long time. Everybody knew her as the lady who sang respect. She won a lot of Grammy Awards, 18 to be exact. Aretha Franklin was also the woman to get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. When Aretha Franklin was 76 years old, something changed. Aretha Franklin said something that surprised a lot of people. She told us 7 musicians that she did not like. And the weird thing is these musicians were not anyone. Aretha Franklin had called them her friends, the people who taught her and the musicians she looked up to. She said that some people liked her when everyone was watching. They did not like her when they were alone with her. This happened after all the attention was gone. When she finally told everyone who these people were, the name she said surprised people the most. She was talking about these people who liked her only when everyone could see them, and the last person she mentioned was the one that surprised people the most, the people who betrayed her. Number 1, Ray Charles. Ray Charles was the name that came up, someone she thought of like a brother. The connection between Ray Charles and her was really strong. It seemed like Ray Charles. She could do anything together. Back in the mid-1970s, people who made television shows wanted to put a special live performance with Ray Charles and her. When they first started practicing, it felt nice and easy. Ray Charles and she had a time together. They would sing and joke around. They would sing in a gospel style, tease each other about who had the best rhythm. One time she told Ray Charles that he played the piano like it was Sunday morning. That made Ray Charles smile. Everything felt like family until the broadcast began. That night Ray did something that really surprised everyone. He changed the timing and the melody and the rhythm of the song while they were performing. Aretha had a time keeping up because the song was not what they had practiced. The people watching thought it was really cool that Ray was making things up as he went along. Aretha felt like Ray was not being very nice to her. She heard Ray talking to the producers, and he said that Aretha was great at singing, but she was not very good at thinking on her feet. When Aretha heard Ray say that, it really hurt her feelings. The thing that Ray said about Aretha really bothered her. This person was really hurt by someone she looked up to. She felt like they were making fun of her. So she made a decision that she would never perform with this person again. She stuck to that decision. A time later, when people who write for newspapers brought up his name, she would say, "I wish him well," in a nice way. Deep down, she was still feeling the pain of what happened with this person. Number 2, Luther Vandross. Aretha's list had Luther Vandross in the spot, and the problem between them started with a tough time working together in a studio. Back in the 1980s, Clive Davis thought it would be a great idea to put the young producer, who was very picky, with the Queen of Soul. Things did not go well. The time they spent together in the studio was very tense. Luther Vandross kept trying to change Aretha's music by changing the harmonies, making the verses shorter, and telling her how to sing during the recordings. Aretha felt bad because Luther Vandross was always telling her what to do. She thought that after doing music for so long she knew what she was doing. Aretha did not like that Luther Vandross did not trust her to make her music. Luther Vandross and Aretha had different ideas about music. One night, when they were working on Jump to It, Luther stopped the musicians, told Aretha Franklin she was singing too much. The room got really quiet as Aretha Franklin said, "Nobody tells the Queen how to reign," and then she just walked out. Aretha Franklin would not come back until Clive Davis came and talked to her himself. Even though Jump to It did well, making it was a mess. Aretha Franklin told someone she trusted that Jump to It was a record, but it was hard to make. Luther said in interviews that Aretha Franklin was hard to work with. Also really talented. She and him never worked together again. When people started talking about him years, she said something about him. She said that he found out the way that the crown does not share with anyone. The crown is very important to her. The crown does not share with people like him. Number 3, Beyoncé. This whole thing started at the 2008 Grammy Awards. Beyoncé came out on stage wearing clothes. She introduced Tina Turner, called her the Queen. The people in the audience were clapping. Aretha was watching this from Detroit. She did not look happy. The Queen of Soul title meant a lot to Aretha. It was something she got for doing music her whole life. She did not think anyone else should be called that while she was still alive. Aretha said something to the public about what happened. She said it was not a thing to do, and it was not respectful. She did not say Beyoncé's name. Everyone knew who she was talking about. Beyoncé was the one who called Tina Turner the Queen. She told her friends that nobody should call another woman Queen long, as she was still alive. After that, she did not go to events where Beyoncé was performing. She also did not want to be in any pictures with Beyoncé. Sometimes she would say that Beyoncé was a singer, but she was also very young and did not know how to show respect. When Beyoncé had a concert in Detroit and said it was for Aretha, the people who knew Aretha did not think she ever forgave Beyoncé. Number 4. Keith Richards. This problem started in 2007 when Keith Richards was talking to Rolling Stone about the history of soul and rock music. Keith Richards said that soul music was dead after Otis Redding died, and that even though Aretha was still around, it was just not the same as it used to be. Some people who liked Keith Richards thought he was just joking around. Aretha did not like what Keith Richards said at all. Aretha talked about this on the radio. She said that some people think that loud guitars mean the music is really emotional. Then she said bless his heart about Keith Richards. The thing with Keith Richards and Aretha was pretty big. Keith Richards had made some people upset, including Aretha. So the lady stopped going to events that had the Rolling Stones. She did not want to go to parties that were about them. She also did not want to hear their music when she was practicing. The lady told a reporter something. She said if he wanted to get rid of soul music, he should go ahead and dig his grave. Then one day someone said Keith's name, and the lady just said, "Who?" That was it. She was done talking about it. She just moved on. Did not think about the Rolling Stones anymore. Number 5. Dionne Warwick. This thing came up again at Whitney Houston's funeral in 2012. Aretha Franklin was not feeling well, so she could not go to the funeral. She had feet, and it was hard for her to stand. When Dionne Warwick talked during the service, she called Aretha Franklin Whitney Houston's godmother. Said she was not there. Dionne Warwick did not mean to make it sound like Aretha Franklin did not want to go to the funeral. That is what people thought, and it was all over the news. The news said Aretha Franklin skipped Whitney Houston's funeral, and that made her feel really bad. Aretha Franklin was embarrassed by what Dionne Warwick said about her at Whitney Houston's funeral. She did not say anything for 5 years. Then, in 2017, she sent a fax to the Associated Press. The fax was 5 pages long. She said some things about Dionne. She said Dionne was telling lies about her and causing trouble at an event. She ended the fax by saying Dionne knew what she did. Dionne said in public that the things she said did not bother her. People who knew them thought that Aretha and Dionne were not friends anymore. Aretha told a friend that it was very bad that Dionne lied about her at a funeral. Aretha said that some people can sound nice when they sing, but they can still be inside. She was talking about Dionne. Number 6. Billy Joel. At first, Aretha thought Billy Joel was a guy because he wrote good songs and he really liked music. A while ago, people started talking about Billy Joel and Aretha doing a concert together, where they would both play the piano. When they started practicing, they realized they are very different. Billy Joel liked to make jokes and did not take the practices seriously. He wanted Aretha to calm down and have a good time. Aretha wanted to make sure everything was perfect. One time when they were taking a break, Billy Joel said maybe Aretha should have a whiskey to make her feel better. He was just joking. The woman never drank alcohol, so what he said hurt her feelings. She closed her music book, told him he could play the way he wanted. She was going to keep her self-respect, and then she left. In a week, the concert was canceled, and nobody said why. And she said that he played the piano like a poet, but when he talked, he sounded like a foolish person. After that, the woman decided to stay from him completely. She wanted nothing to do with him, the concert, or anything that reminded her of him. The woman just wanted to distance herself from him. Number 7. Eminem. Eminem and Aretha Franklin both came from Detroit. Aretha Franklin had done a lot for Detroit over the years. She had performed at charity concerts and gospel fundraisers. She had also helped performers. When Eminem became really famous and talked about how he loved Detroit, Aretha Franklin thought he would at least say something about her. He did not. Eminem mentioned a lot of people from Detroit in his songs. However, he never mentioned Aretha Franklin. Aretha Franklin felt that Eminem was being disrespectful to her by not saying anything about her. She thought this was an attack on her. Aretha Franklin was hurt by Eminem's silence about her influence on Detroit. In a radio interview in 2010, someone asked her about Eminem. She said one word: noise. Eminem never said anything back to her in public. He never said sorry. He never used her music in his songs. She thought about this, said that it is easier to deal with someone who says mean things to you than with someone who completely ignores you. To her, Eminem ignoring her was like the insult. This is why Eminem was the person she wanted to deal with. These 7 individuals, according to her, represented disappointments that stayed with the Queen of Soul throughout her later years. Some people believe she was justified in holding those grudges, while others think pride may have cost her peace. The story continues to spark debate among music fans about respect, legacy, and forgiveness. Viewers are invited to share their opinions, leave a comment, like the discussion if it was surprising, and subscribe for more stories about the hidden moments behind music's greatest legends.